Hello? I just changed, I don't know, maybe it's still on. I just changed to LTE because it typically works better out here. How y'all doing tonight? It's Thursday night. Thursday night. I wanted to jump on and get crazy. What up, Josh or Christine? Not sure which one it is. Good to see you on here. I don't know about you guys, but it has been a wild week. Oh, man, to say the least. It's been a wild week. I'm not saying it's been a wild bad week. It's just been a wild week. It's had its ups and downs. It's had its ins and outs. It's had its blacks and whites. It's had some pretty interesting stuff. What up, Jeremy? Good to see you on here, homie. It's had some pretty interesting stuff take place. And, you know, I'm just going to jump on because I don't want to take a lot of y'all's time tonight. Those of you that'll jump on. What up, Alec? One love, baby. I don't want to take a lot of your time. And who knows who will watch the replay. But just a few things that I want to address. Seriously. A few things I want to address. And a few things that I want to clear the air with these things that are going on. I'm just going to roll. This week, since my Sunday message has been, I think the last time I checked, there was about 130 inboxes and questions and disagreements and agreements and name calling and wanting to know why and this and that. And when I first wanted to go on, when my wife and I talked about it, what up, Amy? When my wife and I talked about it, when I told her what I wanted to do Sunday, she told me I was crazy and to not do it. And I just feel like it's time for all of us to gather our voice together, because each and every one of us has a voice. And each and every one of our voices is important. There isn't one voice that's more important than the next. And there isn't one person that's more important than the next. And in reality, there isn't one person that's more influential than the next. You just have more people following, which makes you more influential. But really, what up, Dave Krause? Oh, dude, Seminole High School friend. Matthew Tanner, what's up? Appreciate you guys jumping on. So again, I just, it's been quite a week. My Sunday's Facebook Live was, about racism and racial divide and things that are going on in America that are ridiculous. And what up, Beth? Good to see you on here. And it's just crazy. Like, the stuff that's going on in the world right now is crazy. Hands down. We can all agree that it's crazy. I think, though, and I'm believing that in the crazy, I really think there's going to be some amazing, beautiful stuff that comes out of it. So really, going through the process is the key. So we're all having to trust the process here. We're having to trust that all things are working together for our good. We're having to trust the fact that the world is happening for each and every one of us, and it's not happening to us. Like, that's a mindset that we need to grab. It's happening for us. It's not happening to us. It's all working together, even though it's chaotic. I was listening. My wife had a coaching call on today, and I was listening to part of it. And the lady kept trying to get coached out of her pain. And Brooke said, well, that's the problem, is you're not going to get coached out of your pain. You're going to get coached into the pain and then through the pain. Because if you don't deal with it at the moment, then you end up the victim to it as long as you go and don't deal with it. which brings me to my first point. I made a post the other day about the Democratic Party used to run the slaves and put force on our African Americans, and they can't do that anymore. And there's been a shift into a language and some issues that are, and I'm not a political guy. I literally, the past 60 days, have probably seen this stuff more than ever, been trying to dig into it. And I see it. So I can see a bigger picture, and then I can see the infrastructure in the bigger picture. I could be 100% wrong. I could be 1,000,000% wrong. I'm not saying any of this is the truth. I'm saying it's my truth at this moment. And I feel like each and every one of you on here and that'll watch, you have a voice and your truth at the moment too. But as humans, we can have truths that aren't the truth, if that makes any sense. They're just true to us. And so we just keep going with what we feel is the truth until we... What up, Brian? Hey, man, good to see you on here. We go with our truth until we see something else that's in it. And so I'm seeing this go on, and what I put on there is that the shift has been moved into oppression and language from a victim mindset, and that as long as the victim mindset stays there, the victim mindset automatically causes us to oppress ourselves. How do I know this? Because I've went through the victim mindset and am going through the victim mindset in many different seasons of my life. And so I know this to be true for me, that this is how the mind works. When you are the victim in the story, you're automatically wearing the cloud of oppression. It doesn't matter what color you are, and it doesn't matter what the story is that you're the victim in, but that cloud cloaks you because of your mind. And that was really all I was trying to say, is that this party has moved from force into putting our African American brothers and sisters in a place where they feel like they can never get ahead in some areas. They put them in the corner in some areas, and that mindset gets stuck there, and they feel like through generations that this is how my parents lived, this is how I'm gonna live. This is how my grandparents lived, this is how I'm gonna live. And really, it's just a mindset. So that was where I was trying to go. Racism is never good, any of it at all. It's real in the world, it's being dealt with and will be being dealt with. And it's just something that we're all gonna have to do. So anybody that I offended with that comment, I apologize for the comment. I didn't want to get on there and try to clear it up with more words because they're so hard to dissect the tone and inflection. But really, I was just addressing a mindset that with that mindset, we stay oppressed in the victim mentality. And when we can see ourselves coming out of it and we get the glimpse of hope, then that's the direction that we can go in. So that was that part. I've had major dialogue with several of my friends. Yep, they're late for the party. My neighbor's honking. I got one neighbor mowing, one neighbor honking. And I'm running out of daylight. I can see it's getting darker. Anyways, I've had lots of dialogue, and there's this push right now for me. I've had several people inbox me from all around America, basically telling me that I need to be quiet and that I'm a Christian and I'm a pastor and I shouldn't be talking about racism or politics. And so for those people, we've dialogued on the side, but if I talk to several people, I'm sure there's more. I want us to be really clear here. I am a spiritual person, always have been, always will be, just like you, regardless if you go to church or not. And I have a voice, and I see, and I declare, and I might make a mistake, and I might get it wrong. And I'm okay with that because I'm human and we're all growing. The minute we try to make everybody perfect and that you can't ever say anything wrong. We've missed the whole thing because nobody's perfect. Nobody's mindsets are perfect. Nobody can say it all right every single time. I mean, my mindset shifted coming out of Christianity 10 years ago, moving into this grace mindset. I had major things going on. You know, I was reprimanded in the church for being friends with gay people. I was reprimanded in the church for having people that smelled like alcohol up towards the front because they were messing up the anointing. I also was reprimanded. My wife we had a lady of the night came in, and my wife wanted to make sure that she felt welcome because that's my wife. So my wife pulls her over and sits with her in the front and has her arm around her. We got reprimanded for having a lady of the night on the front row. The front row is for special people. And so my mindset is shifting from, we're all special people. We're all special people. And so this mindset of the church shifted into the place where I wasn't welcome there anymore because my heart was so open to everybody. Man, my heart was so open to these broken people that were coming in, and I'm being told those people have to sit in the back. And to the point where I was asked to leave. I played the victim in that role for years, which is what I was just talking to you about, the victim mindset. I told that story in my mind so many times that it oppressed me into doing things and trying to prove things and just put me in a weird spot all the way around. So where am I going? Where are you going, Phil? So this moved me to a place of experiencing people as humans, people as like, wow, these are people that are hurting, and the church is hurting them, and it's wrong on so many levels. And so Grace Life was born. And so we welcome the LGBT community, and we welcome these people in, and we take them in, and we want them to be there. We don't want them to come in and sit in the back. We want them to be there because they're part, and they've not felt like part. But where I'm going with this is, for years, when I would talk to, I hope I say this right, for lack of saying LGBT, when I were to talk to a gay person, no disrespect, everything was fine until they found out that I was a Christian and I was a minister. Then the whole atmosphere shifted, their demeanor shifted, their face shifted, all because I got grouped into a bunch of hypocrites. I got grouped into a bunch of judgmental gay haters. I got grouped into this realm of people who had people that smelled like alcohol, women of the night, and if you're gay, you have to sit in the back. That's just segregation, is all it is, in fancy, pretty church clothes. It's pathetic. It's sickening. And it's still going on today in many, if not most, of the churches around. So I'll just keep moving on my soapbox. This was my story. I kept getting pushed into it, and pushed into it, and pushed into it. I was looked at as somebody that I wasn't because of who I said I was, if that even made sense. I said I was a Christian. It immediately made them think, oh, I already know what you think about me. I already know you think that I'm a sinner. I already know you think I'm disgusting. I know you already think I'm going to burn, and all this pathetic stuff that we label people and fear people with to get them to change. So I have felt this before. I've been in this spot before in my life where I'm getting grouped into stuff just for being me. Anybody that knows me that is in the LGBT community knows that I love them and I'm for them, and I will do anything for them, and I'm not scared of the whiplash or what comes. I'm not scared of the people giving me a hard time from my last Sunday's message because I did a gay wedding. I'm not moved by it. It doesn't move me away from genuinely loving people. And now I'm being grouped in again as I'm a racist because I'm not saying certain things. I'm a racist because I posted something from Ben Carson. I'm a racist because I I'll vote for Trump. So I'm grouped in again, and I wanted to clear the air on any of my groupies. Let's be clear here. I don't like President Trump. I think that he is pretty pathetic. I think that he's a clown most of the time. I think that he has no couth whatsoever. I think that he has no tact whatsoever. I think that he shouldn't be on social media. I think that he should listen to his team more, where his team is telling him to pipe it and not talk so much, because when you talk, everybody thinks you're dumb. That's what I think about President Trump. This is what I think about the Republican Party, is they're all crooks and liars. This is what I think about the Democratic Party, also crooks and liars. So Phil, what are you saying? This is what I'm saying, is for the first time in history, I feel like there's somebody in the White House that's not a politician. I don't feel that President Trump is a Republican or a Democrat. I think that he's trying to maneuver things in there to pull down the wall of white power in the back, to pull down the curtain, to expose what's going on behind the scenes, to expose some of the conspiracy theories that I believe are happening in the government. I believe that he feels our government is as corrupt and as crooked as it could possibly be. And the reason why I support him is because he's not a politician. I feel like he's not being bought by these people that are trying to move their agenda through the news. This is what I feel, right? This is what I feel. See this? Who is this right here? Rosanna. Yeah, how could I vote for Trump as a preacher? This is my story. I'm trying to explain it to you. Biden is by no means a cupcake. And here's the thing is, if I were to say, now you have to also be open, right? I'm trying to be open. I've been dialoguing with people all week on opening my mind and expanding and trying to see what they're saying about Trump and this and that. And I can see a lot of stuff. I read a lot of stuff. He has so many things going on. And a lot of the stuff he says is for sure racist. But that doesn't make me a racist. Just like if I say I'm a Christian, that doesn't mean I also hate gay people. Do we see how that works together? How about this one? If I say that I like the Pope, or if I say I'm a Catholic, does that make me a child molester? No, it doesn't. So I'm trying to move us to this spot. I should say this. I'm trying to move the people that are calling me names because I will vote for Trump. I'm not voting for a party. I'm voting specifically for him because I feel like if we can move back past far enough, some of the things he does that doesn't get talked about a lot, like prison reform, is really big stuff for me. Like, our prisons are pathetic. Our prisons are slave camps, and they need help. And I'll just leave that at that. But my thing here is everybody's telling me, what if you're wrong about Trump? And I want to take that same question and turn it around and say, what if I'm not? What if he's actually part of the solution, but we can't move past the fact that he shouldn't be in public light? What if we can't move past the fact that he can't get a full sentence out? What if we can't move past the fact that things from the 70s and 80s and 90s are being brought up? None of them are good. I'm not excusing any of them, but I'm just saying, what if we can move past the fact of all of his issues that are out in the open, all of the verbiage that he's used that's been out in the open, and just sit back and look at him as a human, and that maybe he's trying to do something with the powers behind the curtain that have had this crooked government for years and years and years and years and years. Maybe he's not a politician, so he's not perfectly put together like our politicians. Maybe he's not eloquently put together for making speeches. Maybe it's a president that's actually trying to mess up what's happening in the back, that's made all of this stuff the way it is, that's pushed my fellow African Americans in the corner and put them out there like we did the Indians and we do the African Americans. I mean, it's ridiculous. What if he's right? What if? I'm just saying, what if, right? What if is my question. So the questions that the title of this is what if? And for me is, I'm a Christian and I don't hate gay people. I'm also born and raised Catholic and I'm not a pedophile. I'm also voting for Trump and I'm not a racist. Now that is where I'm at in my truth for today. So the questions are now in your court. Just think about what was said here. Just think about it. I've had a bunch of dialogue that's been brought to me and I'm thinking about it. I'm talking about it. I'm coming up and I'm owning into certain mindsets that I haven't been in before, and I'm able to see some things differently and see some things clearly, right? And so I'm just asking for you to do the same. I'm asking for all of us to be open for change. I'm asking for all of us to be open and allow grace and love to move through and see if you can see some things in the back. I'll tell you this one last thing and I'll jump off. Nadia, I hear you, girl. I hear you. I hear you and I feel your pain of things that he says. And man, it is wrong and it's sad. I really do feel you. I'm just asking us to maybe see past the verbiage and the way he is, and to see that he might be trying to pull down the curtain. And I feel that when the curtain comes down, I feel that the people that are put in the corner will be able to come out of the corner. That's the way I feel. Could be wrong, might be wrong. I might be wrong, and I might change next week. But that's where I'm at today. And the thing that sealed it for me was when these influential white Republicans started to come out and push against Trump. That made me really start to wonder and think, why are the Bushes and these influential white people that have been in politics for all these years actually going against their own party? Maybe they're part of the problem. Maybe they're also behind the curtain, pulling the strings that owns the media. Could be wrong. Anyways, I love y'all regardless. Hate on me, it's fine. Won't be the first time, won't be the last. I wish it wasn't that way. I really am pushing for change. For those of you that I haven't completely blown out and that won't ever listen to me again, I'm going to be having my man Kyle Butler on with me on Sunday. African American, used to be a pastor, loves people. I love his heart. I love his energy. I love what he stands for. If there's any questions that you would like for him and I to address and discuss, put them down on here and I'll write them all down and I will get with him and we'll address them. We're going to be on 10:05 on Sunday. I don't exactly know how the share works, but I'm going to come together and try to make it to where we're both on here. And I'm telling him, I haven't told him yet, but maybe he's watching. I'm going to inbox him and tell him I want him to ask me some really hard questions about white privilege and white race and what it looks like, because I operate in white privilege, and for about I'm 46. For about 40 years, never even knew what white privilege was. It's ugly, it's rampant, and I was part of the problem for years, and I'm really trying to be part of the solution. That is really my heart in all of these matters of injustice. And so with that being said, if you have any questions you want on here, We're going to go back and forth in dialogue and, go back and forth and see what we can come up with, and see if we can come up with answers. We see if we can come up with any kind of solutions on things that are going on. I didn't even know that saying a certain word was a big deal until on Sunday, and I said something, and man, it blew everybody up. And then somebody sent me a video, somebody that loves me enough to show me, sent me a 2-3 minute read on why, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'll never use that word again. I didn't know, but now I do, and I'm changing. So all of us are moving forward. We're all changing. The structure of America is changing. Our horizon looks different. The landscape looks different. Between COVID and injustice, it's a crazy spot right now in America. And so I'm hoping to bring some comfort and some peace to the situations so that we can deal with it, and at the same time have peace in our heart that we're doing it the right way. We're moving in a direction where we're all helping instead of just bashing each other. Because I can promise you one thing, bashing me isn't teaching me anything. But the people that have normal dialogue and talk and call, I'll listen. And if I'm wrong, I'll be wrong. I'll own my words, I'll eat my words, I'll discuss my words, and I'll put it back out there. Because the only way we're gonna get resolve is if we can work together as Americans. That's the only way it's gonna work. Anyways, love you guys, appreciate you, thanks for tuning in. See you Sunday, we'll be back, 10:05. Love ya.